1. Mindless and noisy surroundings. In the journey to simplify my life, one of the first things I decided to quit was the habit of surrounding myself with mindless and noisy environments. I realized that constant exposure to unnecessary noise and distractions was affecting my focus and overall well-being. To combat this, I began by decluttering my physical space. I got rid of items that contributed to the chaos and chose to keep only those that brought value and serenity to my surroundings. This not only made my living space more tranquil, but also made it easier to maintain and organize. By reducing mindless and noisy surroundings, I created a peaceful environment that allowed me to focus on what truly matters, promoting a sense of calm and mindfulness in my daily life. 2. Embracing spontaneity. Another significant step in simplifying my life was embracing spontaneity. I had previously structured my life with rigid plans and schedules, leaving little room for unexpected experiences and adventures. To break free from this pattern, I started to say yes to opportunities that arose spontaneously. I allowed myself to be open to new experiences, whether it was taking a last-minute weekend trip to explore the mountains or trying out a new hobby on a whim. This shift toward spontaneity not only added excitement and joy to my life, but also helped me break away from the monotony of routine. It allowed me to discover unexpected pleasures and hidden gems, reminding me of the beauty in the unpredictability of life. Did you find the video helpful so far? Please consider liking the video. And continue this video by typing "I am a minimalist" in the comments below. 3. Consuming negative content. In my pursuit of a simpler and more meaningful life, I made a conscious decision to quit consuming negative content. I realized that the media I exposed myself to had a profound impact on my mental well-being. I began by being mindful of the content I consumed, whether it was news, social media, or entertainment. I reduced my exposure to negative news stories and sensationalized content that often left me feeling anxious and overwhelmed. Instead, I sought out content that inspired positivity, personal growth, and creativity. I followed accounts and channels that shared uplifting stories and encouraged a more optimistic outlook on life. 4. Excessive TV time. To simplify my life further, I decided to quit excessive TV time. I had noticed that spending hours in front of the television often left me feeling unproductive and disconnected from the real world. I began by setting clear boundaries on my TV watching habits. I designated specific times for watching shows or movies and limited the duration of each session. This not only freed up more time in my day, but also encouraged me to seek out alternative activities that added value to my life. I rediscovered the joy of reading, spending quality time with loved ones, and pursuing hobbies that had been neglected. By reducing my TV time, I found that my days became more purposeful and enriched with meaningful experiences. 5. Replacing screen time with healthy habits. As a continuation of my journey to simplify my life, I made a conscious effort to replace excessive screen time with healthier habits. I had recognized that mindlessly scrolling through screens was not only a time waster, but also detrimental to my physical and mental well-being. To address this, I introduced daily practices that promoted a healthier lifestyle. I incorporated yoga and regular walks into my routine, which not only improved my physical health, but also provided moments of mindfulness and relaxation. Journaling became another essential habit, allowing me to reflect on my day, set intentions, and gain clarity on my goals. This practice helped me stay focused and organized, reducing the chaos in my life. 6. Excessive consumption of unhealthy food. A significant change on my journey towards a simpler life was quitting the excessive consumption of unhealthy food. I had noticed that indulging in processed and unhealthy foods not only affected my physical health, but also led to feelings of sluggishness and dissatisfaction. To address this, I transitioned to a diet focused on whole, nutritious foods. This shift not only improved my health, but also inspired me to experiment with new recipes in the kitchen. I discovered the joy of cooking and found satisfaction in preparing wholesome meals for myself and my loved ones. This change in dietary habits not only boosted my physical well-being, but also aligned with my goal of simplifying life. I found that by nourishing my body with the right foods, I had more energy and clarity of mind to focus on what truly mattered. 7. Multitasking. In my pursuit of a simpler and more intentional life, I decided to quit the habit of multitasking. I had previously believed that juggling multiple tasks simultaneously made me more productive, but I soon realized that it often led to inefficiency and increased stress. I began to prioritize single tasking, dedicating my full attention to one activity at a time. This shift allowed me to complete tasks more efficiently and with greater focus. It also reduced the mental strain of constantly switching between different demands. By quitting multitasking, I experienced a sense of calm and accomplishment. I found that I could fully engage in each activity, whether it was work, leisure, or spending time with loved ones, leading to a more fulfilling and simplified life. 8. Negative self-talk. As part of my journey towards a simpler and more joyful life, I made the conscious decision to quit negative self-talk. I realized that how I spoke to myself had a profound impact on my self-esteem and overall happiness. I began to replace self-criticism and harsh judgments with self-compassion and empathy. I started to acknowledge my achievements, no matter how small, and celebrate my successes. This change in mindset lifted my self-esteem and allowed me to experience greater joy in my everyday life. By speaking to myself with kindness and understanding, I created a more positive and nurturing inner dialogue. This not only improved my self-image but also contributed to a sense of inner peace and contentment, aligning perfectly with my goal of simplifying and enriching my life. 9. Constant overthinking. To simplify my life and reduce mental clutter, I decided to quit the habit of constant overthinking. I had often found myself trapped in a cycle of rumination, which led to anxiety and indecision. I began practicing mindfulness meditation to become more aware of my thoughts and break free from the cycle of overthinking. This practice helped me stay present in the moment and let go of unnecessary worries about the past and future. By quitting constant overthinking, I gained a sense of mental clarity and peace. I learned to trust my instincts and make decisions more confidently. This change allowed me to focus on what truly mattered and live a simpler, more intentional life. 10. Unrealistic expectations. On my journey to a simpler life, I chose to quit setting unrealistic expectations for myself and others. I recognized that expecting too much often led to disappointment and unnecessary stress. I began to adopt a more realistic and compassionate outlook. I acknowledged that I, like everyone else, had limitations, and it was okay not to meet every expectation I had set. This shift in mindset allowed me to embrace imperfection and find contentment in the present moment. By quitting unrealistic expectations, I experienced greater peace and fulfillment. I learned to appreciate the journey rather than constantly striving for unattainable ideals. This change aligned perfectly with my goal of simplifying my life and finding joy in the everyday. Congratulations! You've completed half of the video towards your minimalism journey. The next half is packed with more valuable and exciting content. So let's dive into the rest of the video together, and please hit the like button if you found the video helpful. 11. Complaining. As part of my journey towards a simpler and more positive life, I made a conscious effort to quit complaining. I realized that complaining not only added negativity to my own life, but also affected my interactions with others. I began to shift my perspective and focus on gratitude and solutions instead of dwelling on problems. When faced with challenges, I chose to see them as opportunities for growth rather than reasons to complain. This change in mindset allowed me to approach life with a more optimistic outlook. By quitting the habit of complaining, I found that I could appreciate the abundance in my life and maintain more harmonious relationships with others. It also improved my overall well-being and aligned with my goal of simplifying and enriching my life. 12. Fear of missing out on social media. To simplify my life and reduce the impact of constant digital distractions, I decided to quit the fear of missing out on social media. I recognized that the constant scrolling and comparison on social platforms often led to feelings of inadequacy and restlessness. I began to limit my time on social media, setting clear boundaries and designated periods for checking my feeds. I also unfollowed accounts that triggered negative emotions or envy, creating my online experience to be more positive and intentional. By quitting the FOMO mindset, I gained a sense of liberation. I no longer felt the need to constantly check my social media profiles and compare my life to others. Instead, I focused on cultivating gratitude, contentment, and peace in the real world. 13. Excessive notifications. To further simplify my digital life, I decided to quit excessive notifications. The constant ping of notifications from various apps and platforms had become a source of stress and distraction. I took control of my devices by turning off non-essential notifications. This allowed me to regain focus on the tasks at hand and reduce the constant interruptions that hindered my productivity. By quitting excessive notifications, I found that I could reclaim my mental space and be more present in the moment. I no longer felt compelled to check my phone every time it buzzed, and I gained greater control over my digital life. 14. Measuring success against others. On my journey to a simpler and more fulfilling life, I chose to quit measuring my success against others. I realized that comparing my achievements to those of others often led to feelings of inadequacy and unnecessary competition. I shifted my focus towards personal growth and self-fulfillment. Instead of seeking validation from external sources, I aimed to be the best version of myself. This change allowed me to appreciate my unique journey and accomplishments. By quitting the habit of measuring success against others, I experienced a greater sense of self-worth and contentment. I celebrated my achievements without the need for external validation, aligning perfectly with my goal of simplifying and enriching my life. 15. Impulsive shopping. To simplify my life and reduce clutter, I decided to quit impulsive shopping. I recognized that buying things I didn't truly need or love not only wasted money, but also added unnecessary possessions to my life. I implemented a rule where I waited 48 hours before making a purchase. This gave me time to consider whether the item was a genuine necessity or if it was simply a momentary desire. This practice helped me avoid buying things on a whim and contributed to a more intentional and clutter-free lifestyle. By quitting impulsive shopping, I found that I saved money, reduced clutter in my living space, and became a more conscious consumer. This change aligned with my goal of simplifying my life and focusing on what truly matters. 16. Business for the sake of being busy. As part of my journey towards simplicity, I decided to quit the habit of business for the sake of being busy. I had realized that constantly filling my schedule with activities and tasks left me feeling overwhelmed and drained. I began to embrace the concept of slow living, valuing quality over quantity in my commitments. I learned to prioritize tasks that truly mattered and left room for moments of leisure and relaxation. By quitting business for the sake of being busy, I discovered the beauty of being present in each moment and savoring life's simple pleasures. This change allowed me to lead a more intentional and fulfilling life. 17. Prioritizing screens over other activities. To simplify my life and foster more meaningful connections, I decided to quit prioritizing screens over other activities. I had noticed that excessive screen time, whether on smartphones or computers, was hindering my ability to engage fully in real-life experiences. I began to set clear boundaries for screen usage, especially during social interactions or quality time with loved ones. I made an effort to be present and attentive, valuing face-to-face connections over virtual ones. By quitting the habit of prioritizing screens, I strengthened my relationships and became more mindful of the world around me. This change aligned with my goal of simplifying my life and nurturing meaningful connections. 18. Excessive screen time. As a continuation of my efforts to simplify my digital life, I decided to quit excessive screen time altogether. I recognized that spending too much time in front of screens was not only detrimental to my well-being, but also a significant source of distraction. I implemented strategies to reduce screen time, such as setting daily limits and utilizing screen time tracking apps. This allowed me to regain control over my digital habits and create a healthier balance between online and offline activities. By quitting excessive screen time, I experienced increased productivity, improved sleep quality, and a greater sense of presence in my daily life. This change aligned perfectly with my goal of simplifying my life and prioritizing activities that brought genuine joy and fulfillment. 19. Toxic relationships. In my quest for a simpler and more positive life, I chose to quit toxic relationships. I realized that maintaining connections with individuals who drained my energy and caused emotional distress was not conducive to my well-being. I made the difficult decision to distance myself from toxic relationships, setting boundaries, and prioritizing my mental health. This allowed me to create space for more supportive and nurturing connections in my life. By quitting toxic relationships, I experienced a profound sense of relief and inner peace. I surrounded myself with people who uplifted and supported me, contributing to a more harmonious and fulfilling life. 20. Prioritizing self-care over toxic relationships. As a continuation of my efforts to simplify my life and prioritize my well-being, I decided to quit prioritizing toxic relationships over self-care. I recognized that neglecting my own mental and emotional health to accommodate toxic individuals was detrimental to my overall happiness. I made self-care a top priority, dedicating time to activities that nourished my mind, body, and soul. This included practices like meditation, exercise, journaling, and spending quality time with loved ones who supported my well-being. By quitting the habit of prioritizing toxic relationships over self-care, I experienced a profound transformation in my overall happiness and inner peace. I learned to value and prioritize my own needs, aligning perfectly with my goal of simplifying and enriching my life. There you have it, my friends, a journey through the steps I took to simplify my life and find greater fulfillment. If you found this journey inspiring and insightful, don't forget to hit that like button to let me know. Share this video with your friends and loved ones who might also benefit from simplifying their lives. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel to stay updated with more content that aims to enrich your life and help you discover the beauty of simplicity.